Welcome, viewers, to Let's Talk Ladies with Luna.com. Of course, I'm Luna Werner, and we have a very special guest today. We have a very serious show today. Uh, and so I want you guys to really listen carefully. Our guest today is Lisa Thomas. Lisa Thomas is a social worker. She is an advocate for survivors of children for sexual abuse, and she has spiritually counseled men, women, boys, and girls through their personal journeys. Now, Lisa is also an author. And Lisa has written this powerful book. She's done extensive research on it. And the name of the book is The Rape of Innocence. Now, in this book that Lisa has created, she created it because she feels compelled to write books safeguarding children and warning parents about how society has changed and how that change influences our children. Now, Lisa has written several articles for local newspapers, and she's even composed a monthly newsletter for a former employer. And she'll be telling you about some of her upcoming events that she's going to be doing. But I wanted to show you guys the cover of the book so that you'll make sure that you get the right Lisa Thomas. There are several authors named Lisa Thomas, so I want you to look at the book, get a visual, and grain it in your brain so you'll know what it looks like when you go out there to purchase her book. As I said, she did extensive research. Lisa lives in Memphis, Tennessee. So she's my first Zoom interview that we're actually doing. And Lisa, I'll be sending you a gift in the mail. Everybody who comes on the show, I send a gift to them. I'm getting ready for when I get syndicated, and I'm going to be big time. So I'm already starting to give my guest gifts. So I'll be giving you a gift. It will be coming in the mail, okay? So Lisa, I know this book that you have written, it has made an impact on me because I'm a victim of this, the rape of innocence. I'm a victim of it because back in the 50s, even though I was born way back then when they only had the black and white TVs, I focused so much on watching TV that I catapulted into a fantasy world, thinking that everything I saw on TV was true. That's where I got the Cinderella syndrome from watching the movies, the love movies. Everybody has a happy ending. And back then, everybody had a happy ending in the movies. So I can really relate with the book. But what I'd like for you to do is just tell me what compelled you to really write about this particular subject and how it impacted you as far as writing this book and all the research you did, because I mean, you really did a lot of extensive research.
I did. Luna, I have to say thank you first and foremost. First and foremost, thank God for the opportunity and thank you for inviting me to be a part of your great podcast. I'm looking forward to celebrating with you when you go syndicated. So I'm just humbled and I just have much gratitude and I'm thankful that you kept me in mind. I actually was compelled to write this book by the burden of the Holy Spirit, I have to say. He actually gave me the name of the book, I would say, about maybe 2 years before I actually wrote it. When he gave it to me, I was sitting in a car actually, and I had proposed it to one of my best friends at the time. And she was like, that really sounds good. And she said, what is it going to be about? I said, I don't know. I said, the Lord gave it to me. At first I thought it was going to be my memoir about my personal testimony, how I've overcome the after effects of child sexual abuse myself. But also, I must say that at one point in time when I was working, one of my coworkers, I did not know who he was, but he approached me. I I was sitting at the table during lunch, and his name is Apostle Jonathan Ferguson now, but at the time, he was just Prophet Jonathan Ferguson.
Mm-hmm.
And he went up to me and he said, the Lord wanted me to tell you that you have many books inside of you, and he said you need to start writing. So I was like, I know that has to be the Lord, because I don't even know who this man is, you know. So after that, I started paying attention. And so during this particular season, actually, the Lord had given me another book, and I actually wrote it from front to back. I haven't had it published yet because I haven't had a belt release to publish it. But at the time, I had asked the Lord when He gave me the title, which one should I release first? And He told me I would release this book first before I release the other one.
Mm-hmm.
I said, okay, so what do you want me to write about? And so He said, well, tell me. So I would, during this particular season, I think it might have been like 2012, maybe the end of 2012, my grandmother started, her health started going down.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was taking care of her. And so she, as far as I can remember, she would only sleep like maybe 3 or 4 hours a night. But during this particular time, she would have to sit up like in a lazy boy chair. So I would physically get her up, sit her in the chair, and she would encourage me to write because I had told her about it. So I started writing. I said, okay, Lord, what do you want? What is this book about? What do you want me to write? So he encouraged me to go. I actually had a thought to go to look up witchcraft and how it affects children.
Mm-hmm.
So I looked up witchcraft, and I had like quite a few articles to come up, and I just wrote, you know, what I saw or what I felt impressed to write down.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next time, he would say, look up cartoons. So I would get information about cartoons and how they negatively influence children.
Mm-hmm.
And then he just gave me like a gamut of information. And so that's how the book came about, actually. And he just told me to break it down into, because media is, you know, it just doesn't start like when it comes on television.
Right.
Advertising to public, you know, relations,
Mm-hmm.
to media marketing,
Mm-hmm.
You know, fashion,
Mm-hmm.
all that kind of stuff. So, you know, I broke it down. He had me break it down into that, as well as music, videos, video games,
Mm-hmm.
sports, cosmetic surgery.
So it's a variety. That's where all the research came in, right? All the research. And Lisa, I remember when you and I were talking about the book, and you told me about one incident where you were at a, I guess, a store. Share that with the viewers, please.
Okay, I actually was going to the store. You know how you go back to school shopping
Yes.
for your parents, and so I was going back to school shopping for my niece. And so I was like, well, you know, let me just get her a little of everything. I'm gonna get her, you know, some undergarments, socks, you know, shoes, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to the undergarment section, and I was gonna get her, you know, like a little bra. And so when I was looking, because she was only like 10,
Mm-hmm.
so she was budding, but she wasn't big.
Right.
So I'm looking like for, you know, maybe like an undershirt type thing. And I'm looking and I didn't see it. And I was like, well, I know that I'm not in the wrong section. I'm in the children's section. And I saw this little bra that looked like a push-up bra.
My goodness. A push-up bra for a 10-year-old?
A 10-year-old.
Oh, my goodness.
Like it was padded. And so I was like, I know this has to be in the wrong department. Mm-hmm. So I go looking some more, and I found something just like it in the same section. And I was so mad that I out of the whole store. And I actually had to time shopping in the store.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually started a petition online about it. Of course, a lot of people, they kind of disregard it if it doesn't affect their family.
Right.
But my thing was, I just didn't shop in that particular store, and it's a major, like when I say major store.
Okay, so that was also that was on top of what you had already experienced, and then you see that, then that really motivated you even more. So I have a question for you. I know that you are a social worker, and this book and your profession is like a full circle. So how did you come about becoming a social worker?
Actually, it really was it really was not my choice, to be honest. When I was enrolled in college, I had a professor who made a suggestion for me to pursue social work instead of psychology. And I was like, I don't want to be no social worker because, they work for DHS, and I don't want to work for DHS. I have heard a lot of horror stories about working for DHS. Nothing, no shade about, to any DHS workers. You guys rock, okay? But at the time, I just did not want to work for DHS. But when I actually enrolled in another college, I had learned that social work was so much more than working for DHS. It's very expansive. You can become a therapist, a clinical therapist. You can become a doctor. You can work in politics. You can be a lobbyist. You can have your own practice. You can do anything in social work. You can be a medical social worker. So, I mean, it's just basically whatever area you want to work in. And so after obtaining my degree, it was a little hard getting employed in social work, actually, with a bachelor's. But I just kept trying, and the first place that I started working was child support. And that helped a whole lot because they gave me a lot of experience. Once I got into child support, I then went into immigration, and that's another area. I mean, with all the immigrants that we have, social workers are like really caseworkers, social workers, what have you.
Okay, so I have a question to ask you. When you worked in immigration, and I know you probably dealt with people from all various countries, how did you deal with the language barrier issue?
Now that's a great question. We thank God for Google. Google actually was a great help. What I didn't understand, but actually, for certain things, you can read a person's body language and kind of understand what it is that they're trying to ask or what they want to know. If you didn't understand or they didn't understand you, they could always speak into your phone, and Google would understand and pick it up, and then would translate it and say English.
Okay.
Or we also had a language line, and we could call the language line, and every dialect was represented by a caseworker, social worker, what have you, and so translator. And so we also had that option as well, which was something that we utilized quite often as well. But I do have my degree in social work. I have not obtained my, and it is a bachelor's in social work, but I'm not officially a social worker because I don't have the licensure. So I don't want anybody to get the wrong idea.
Okay.
I'm in social work, but I'm not officially, I'll put it like that.
Okay.
I have done the work.
Okay, so the areas that you have dealt in, you didn't need to have whatever other credentials, the license for the immigration and for the child support and whatever areas you're working in now. So it's just like you specialize, but then some, just like some career jobs, they require the masters, you know, or the PhDs. So the level where you were working, it only required your bachelor's.
Right.
Okay, that's good to know.
I get a licensure as I have my bachelor's. I just haven't done it yet.
Oh, okay, okay,
But I can't.
okay. Now, I know personally that you wanted to be a doctor, right? So what happened to that dream?
Well, it was my dream. I put it like that.
Uh-huh.
Wasn't God's dream for me. And ever since I was 4 years old, I remember my parents bought me a doctor's bag for Christmas, and that's all I dreamed about. It was like my baby, and so I was challenged one day by my now pastor. At the time, she was like my big sister, spiritual sister, and she asked me. She said, "If God said that you had to give up your dream of being a doctor," she said, "would you do it?" And I really thought about it, and I told her, I said, "I don't think I could do it because that's all I wanted to do." And so she said, "Well, I'm just going to let you think about it, and then, you know, we'll talk again later." I said, "Okay, that's fine." So I went, you know, in my secret closet and talked and with God. I said, "Well, God, you know, this is all I've ever wanted to do." I said, "I just being honest, I don't know if I can, you know, just give that up." Because that's just what I want to do. I mean, I felt like I was losing a child, actually. Just the thought of it. But I did, you know, after the Holy Spirit really, really worked with me, I did tell him, I was able to tell him that if that was what he wanted me to do, then I would do it. And so I did talk back to Pastor Karen, and she told me, she said that she felt that the Lord had told her that that he would have still allowed me to be a doctor, but it wouldn't be a medical doctor, but it would be a doctor of healing. And his doctor, I would be a doctor for him. So
okay. So you've gone to the University of God with Jesus Christ as your professor and the Holy Spirit as the counselor. So you covered in all three areas. You're good. Okay, so let's get back to the book now, because you were saying, well, I know from my experience what I dealt with, but you were saying that you looked at cartoons, and what were your findings when you started looking at the cartoons?
Well, I found that, like, for instance, I don't want to say the name of the movie, but one particular is very popular. It was a very popular movie, but of course it was a prince and a princess.
Of course, you gotta have that.
Well, the priest that was marrying the prince and the princess, he was having an erection while performing the ceremony. And if you look at it,
oh my goodness,
exactly that is what's happening. And to be even more weird, the actual cover, because back then, well, the movie is so old. The cover was from a VHS tape. So the actual cover was the still shot of the priest.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Yes. So mean, but it's so subtle.
Mm-hmm.
It's so subtle that you wouldn't even pay attention to it.
And what year was that, Lisa? What year was that that you noticed that?
I believe when I noticed that it was like 2012, but I believe the movie was out maybe. Ooh, I know I believe it was like maybe 2000.
Oh
It
my
might have been,
goodness. Yeah.
but it's a very popular movie, and if I said it, you would know it.
Yeah, but we're not gonna drop any names. But you know, speaking of that,
Yeah,
speaking on that subject, not that subject, but about these movies, you know, and the cartoons. Every once in a while, the little kid in me comes out, and I want to watch a nice kid movie, you know, because that's something I would do with my grandchildren. I don't have that time right now to do it with them because we're in two different cities. But every once in a while, I will just sit up and say, oh, this looks like a good movie. Well, I did that about, I think about 6 months ago. And it was a movie about dogs. And I thought, oh, this is going to be so cute. It's going to be so nice to watch it. And I'm telling you, there was so much cursing. There was so much foul language. There was so much undertone of sexual innuendos in that movie. And I thought this is supposed to be for children. And I went on Facebook and I said, please do not let your children watch this movie. It is not a movie for children. So that's what you're talking about, how they're just easing things in there and just subtle. Some of it's not so subtle, like you just said, but they are exposing our children to even more than what we were exposed to. And a lot of stuff that was on TV, just like I was talking to you earlier. Well, yeah, we get that Cinderella syndrome and the shows like My Three Sons and Leave It to Beaver, you know, and everything's just perfect. The mom's got on the pearls while she has her apron on, and everything is just wonderful. Well, you know, that is not reality.
it's not. It's not.
That is not reality.
No, it's not. And yeah, that sets us up and our children up for failure, especially girls, because we are easy to be, loved. We want to be loved and held and
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
fairly and look beautiful and be, a princess or a queen. And nothing is wrong with that, but no, you got to live in reality.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Absolutely. Okay.
Bad part about that is that we've gone from fantasy into drama, because that's the reality shows are not reality.
They're not.
So we're at two different spectrums, and both of them are exaggerated.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Crazy.
And yeah, and it's probably, well, we know it's going to get worse. It's going to get much worse. Okay, so now you've written this one book, and you said that this guy who is now a apostle, or he was an apostle then, a prophet, he told you you had many books in you. Have you started writing any other books?
Well, I do have one that's already completed, but the Lord did tell me to go back and add some more stuff to it.
Mm-hmm.
I do need to go back and update that. And he actually gave me the name for two other books, and I just haven't felt compelled to really write.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because if you guys don't know, when you're an author, you have to be in a state of mind where when you're writing it just flows, and I can attest to that. You just can't sit down and say, oh, I'm just going to write a chapter, or I'm going to work on a chapter. It doesn't work that way. It has to be a flow, and it has to be a natural flow, and with me, like with you, I get downloaded from the Holy Spirit as to what I need to write, how much to cut off, what the chapter should be, all of that. And if you're like me, when people say, "Oh, it must be hard to write," no, it's not hard to write if you're being obedient and just listening to what the Holy Spirit is telling you to write. Now, you want to go off on your own tantrum, that's different. It might not turn out the way it's supposed to, but yeah, you do have to be in a mindset, and you do have to be in a certain mood in order to write, and it flow the way it should.
Absolutely, yes, for sure. Yeah, and even though my grandmother would encourage me to write, I would feel that flow. Like I think I would be up like maybe 2 o'clock in the morning, right, until I just got tired. And that probably was like until 5. From 2 to 5, I would just be writing.
Okay. All right. And I know that also you were saying that you were going to be starting up something. I don't know if it was on Facebook or YouTube, where you're going to be reading excerpts of your book.
Well, I actually had, what I used to do during my lunch hour is do a presentation of the chapters in my book, and I would present them on Facebook and YouTube, and I would do it during the lunch hour every Tuesday. So I want to start that back up again on Tuesday. Start at the first Tuesday in April.
Okay.
And it'll be at 6:30 on Facebook and YouTube.
Okay. All right. And if someone wants to purchase your book, the Rape of Innocence, where can they find your book? Putting it up so they can see it again.
Currently on Amazon, and or you can either order it from me. You can write me at Haven, HAVEN 04 healing HEALING at gmail.com.
Okay. And also, Lisa, now I don't know. I think I did mention to you about the miracle moments that we're, including in our interviews now. And we just had Marianne Wells, who did the first miracle moment. I don't know if you've seen that footage yet of her, but it is, yeah, she had a powerful miracle moment. But they all powerful because they're miracle moments. So what would you like to share as far as your miracle moment with the viewers?
I can share that my miracle moment back in, I believe it was 1990, I believe it was. I was in school. I was pursuing that psychology degree, and I was preparing for finals. It was actually the end of the spring semester, and I was going to be a junior. So I stayed up late studying, and at that time I had a photographic memory. I could, anything that I wrote down in my notes or saw on the blackboard, I would automatically remember it.
That's fantastic.
So I studied, a whole lot, but I did, especially classes that I didn't really like accounting. I really didn't like that class, but I had to take it to graduate. So I stayed up late. I think I went to bed about 3, and I got back up at 6 because my test was at 7:30. So I remember going to bed, and I remember waking up saying, "Oh, I need to get up because I don't want to be late."
Right.
I remember when I got out of the bed, but I don't remember anything after it. So when I came to, I was back in the bed, and I was like, I know I got out of the bed. I got out of the bed. Why am I in the bed? Because I'm supposed to be taking this test.
Right.
My brother had told me that I had a seizure.
Oh no.
So I was like, what? I had a what? Said you had a seizure. You don't remember? I said, no, I don't remember anything. I'll get out of the bed because I don't remember. So After that, I went to the emergency room. They admitted me in the hospital. I think I stayed in there 2 days because they wanted to test. And back then, they actually put glue in your hair. And my hair is thick like yours. So you can imagine what it was like getting glue out of the hair.
Oh my gosh.
So it was, they diagnosed it as, I can't remember the medical term for it, but it's a junior grandma seizure. But they also didn't know how it started, because it just came, all of a sudden.
Suddenly.
And so I was devastated. I was just devastated because I knew, or I felt at least, that I wouldn't be able to become a doctor because, late nights you have to, in your residency and, staying up and studying. The load, of being a doctor. And I was just, and then not only that, I could not remember like anything. I remember my family, but like other people, I couldn't remember their names. I just remember their faces.
Okay.
So, and I was only 19 at the time. So, and that was even more devastating. Plus, I couldn't drive. So I felt like my independence, I just felt like I just felt lower than low. I just can't tell you how low I feel.
Yeah.
Like, why am I here? Because, I'm going to be a burden, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
But after a while, thank God I was able to get on one medication. And it had some side effects, so I wound up having to get on something else because it started affecting my mouth. And just different things like that. So I got on something else that was a whole lot better. But I still, at the time I was still having them, and then I would only have them like once a year. Whereas I had, I would hear stories of people they have, multiple every day.
Right.
So, I just started beginning to see, the blessing of just having, the condition that I did have, and that it wasn't worse, what it was. I have fallen on concrete. I have fallen on wood. I have broken my teeth.
Oh my goodness!
Miracle. I had a concussion. I actually fell on a kitchen island.
Oh goodness!
Yeah, I mean, the Lord has just protected me every time. And I remember it wasn't funny at the time, but it was kind of funny to me. I remember because sometimes if I didn't respond a certain way, my family would call the ambulance. And so at this one particular time, the ambulance attendant said, "Ma'am," he said, "Now you can tell me." He said, "I'm not gonna tell anybody." He said, "Who did this?" And I just kept laughing. This is kind of funny. But I said, nobody. I had a seizure for real. But anyway, I just, continued to pursue God. And I just believed that God wanted me to be healed. And just as well, I was rebuking the deaf, dumb, and mute spirit. And I was always get from time to time, ministers coming to me telling me that, the Lord is going to heal you. There's nothing wrong with you. And Pastor Karen would tell me from time to time, there's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you. Because that's what I was really concerned about, was that, and then if somebody found out that it happened to me, they would treat me different.
Oh.
Treat me like I was, like mentally challenged or something like that. And that did something else to me. So I didn't tell people because they would just kind of look at me like I was a freak.
Right.
So
right.
I chose not to tell anybody. But my best friend, she got mad at me. She got mad at me one night. She said, "I'm tired of you going around here being afraid, not telling people." She said, "You need prayer, and you need people praying for you." So she told me. So because I did need support. I really need support. And so, but if Lord knows, to make a long story short, because I've already limited it, I continue to pray and ask God to heal me. And I remember it was January 1st, 2016. I had celebrated New Year's Eve with my church, with this church that I had become a member of. And I came, and I was tired. And that was the main reason I would have the seizures, because I was tired, just overly tired. And when I woke up that morning, I think I was getting up to go to work then, and I had another one. And I just said, God, I'm just, I need you to heal me. I'm just tired of this. So I went to the doctor, and after that, I just, after that, it was just like, I just believed God can heal me. I just knew it. I haven't had a seizure since then. And that's been 9 years ago.
Praise God. That's a mighty miracle moment there. That's a mighty miracle moment.
I praise God.
Yes. That is awesome. That is awesome. Well, what is in the future? I know that you said you have all these books to write, but as far as career-wise, where do you see yourself going, and what area are you in right now? Are you still in immigration, or have you moved on to another area in social?
Unfortunately, because of federal funding cuts, I'm currently out of the immigration part. I really get back into it because I enjoyed it. But I'm actually working with children, and which is my favorite population. So I'm working with children and parents.
Okay.
And so I know that since that's my area anyway, I already know I'm going to love it. I do want to, I will be actually starting a support group for women who have been sexually abused. I do want to as well do presentations and workshops for children, sexual abuse prevention, about being aware of what predators and pedophiles look like. I also have plans of opening a clinic, especially for mental illness, and those who, specifically those who have been abused, specifically. And I also want to, it's not a retreat center. Maybe I don't call it a treatment center. I kind of don't know what to call it. But to have a facility where people who are titled and who may be wealthy can come, and they may have been abused, or they, may be dealing with issues from, past abuse or whatever. They can drop their titles, if they're CEO, doctor, whatever, to be themselves and get the healing that they need.
Yes.
I have fire as well, and it's not a retreat, but I can't think of the word. that I would call it, but it's something like that where they can and they can just drop everything. They don't have to, who they are in the world. But they can find themselves, because a lot of them don't know who they are without the title.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
Yeah, that's what I really want.
Okay, and also now I know personally, but the viewers don't know that you have one ministry, or is it more than one ministry?
Well, I have several. I haven't launched the other one.
Okay, but give us some of the names, drop the names so that when they are launched, they can associate those ministries with you.
Okay. Now I have launched a Facebook page for Haven for Healing, and you can find it on Facebook. It is private, but if you find me, you can find the page and just let me know that you're interested. Of course, upon approval, you will be allowed to join. Just as well, I also have a mentoring group called Girls of Destiny, and the Lord actually impressed upon me to reach out to middle school, starting at middle school girls. I actually had a vision while I was on college campus, and I saw college freshmen who were just coming into school, and those who were on campus being lured by upperclassmen, maybe senior and junior men, or even men off campus, and just being lured and deceived, and getting off track, wind up getting pregnant, dropping out, that kind of thing. So just kind of mentoring them, showing them that their identity is in God and not in being with a man, looking a certain way, having a certain body shape, that kind of thing. But I also had a desire to include middle school and high school, and that was also because I worked with women and teenagers who have been sex trafficked. I forgot about that.
Oh, goodness.
Internship while I was in college, right before I got my degree. And that in itself is like, you wouldn't believe. But
goodness.
That's called Girls of Destiny. And I also have a ministry called The Bread Basket. And that's strictly for senior citizens. And the other one I have is also called The Great Commission. And that's just for, to reach out to everyone.
Right. Well, Lisa, you got quite a few irons in the pot, but then, with the leadership that you have, that's the way things work. And for you guys who don't know, Lisa and I are in the same ministry. It is Karen Flag Ministries. Yes, we are very diverse as far as our ministries. We have multiple things going, and also I didn't tell anyone this, but I will share it. Lisa and I are on the prophetic intercessory team, so we're very close, and we do a whole lot of praying, and we see a whole lot of prayers being answered. We see a lot of healings being done, and just God moving bountifully and beautifully within the ministry. So yes, when you heard all the ministries that she has, yes, just know that anyone who is associated with that ministry, they're going to have more than one ministry, and they're going to have things going. So that's just the way it is. We're making a difference, in that ministry. And Lisa, I want to thank you for being on the show. I want to thank you for sharing with everyone. And we're going to look forward to seeing you on Facebook April 1st, 6 p.m., right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I'll be right there to support you.
Thank
And
you. The first Tuesday in April.
the first Tuesday in April. Yes. Oh, the first Tuesday, not April 1st.
Right.
Okay, yeah, because April 1st, yeah. Okay, I stand corrected. The first Tuesday in April, and then it will be every month, every first Tuesday.
Every first Tuesday. That
Okay.
sounds
Okay. All right, guys. So go out there and support her for that. I'm sure you're going to learn a lot of things. And then go and purchase the book
yes.
so that you guys can be aware of what's going on, because it's been going on for some years. Like I said, I was a victim of it. So it's not something new. It's just more intense, and it's just not so good right now, for our young people and our children. So anyway, thank you, viewers, for watching the show. And we will have another show coming soon. But you all have a nice day. And Lisa, I will talk to you soon, okay?
Thank you so much.
You are so welcome. Bye-bye.